Udah muncul belum, Mas?
Oh, you have. I have my own pointer.
Dok, tolong dok, itu dok, pamflet dok, dipindahin dok. Pamfletnya pindahin ke situ. Hah? Udah gitu.
Public speaking.
Barangkali. Nah, itu barangkali. Khawatir kan.
Kantongin aja.
Mana ininya?
Nanti kalau setelah
Biar nggak jauh. Aman. Dok, tes dok. Dok, audionya dites dok. Audionya tes. Audionya dites.
mesti matiin lagi dong.
Apanya? Udah dites.
Tadi audio tesnya cara itu ini.
Oh, alright. Udah. Bisa dimulai.
Cek.
Yang ngaji siapa? Aduh, kenapa malah menyingkir? Udah dimulai.
Belum.
Ya MC.
Susunan acaranya aja dong. Susunan acaranya. Ngaji baca Quran. Itu kasih ke moderator. Setelah selesai doa. Doa makan. Cek. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, alhamdulillah kita bisa berkumpul semua di sini. Memulai pengajiannya kita. Yang kali ini kebetulan ada pembicara. In English. Ada pembicara yang akan membahas mengenai rituals and custom versus mental health and well-being. Sebelum dimulai pembahasan dari pembicara. uh, Dimulai dengan sebelum dimulai, kalau kurang kita buka dulu majelis kita ini dimulai dengan basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang selanjutnya yang tilawah Quran dipersilakan agar bisa dimulai. Sekarang udah jam 11 10.
Tanggung jawab.
Silakan.
Tanggung jawab. Siapa? Ini ada.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا ماكثين فيه أبدا وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا ما لهم به من علم ولا لآبائهم كبرت كلمة تخرج من أفواههم إن يقولون إلا كذبا فلعلك باخئ نفسك على آثارهم إن لم يؤمنوا بهذا الحديث أسفا إنا جعلنا ما على الأرض زينة لها لنبلوهم أيهم أحسن عملا وإنا لجاعلون ما عليها صعيدا جرزا أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا إذ أوى الفتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا صدق الله العظيم.
Subhanallah, alhamdulillah. Terima kasih banyak Ustadz Farid. Selanjutnya langsung diserahkan ke moderator kita, Mbak Erza. Dipersilakan Mbak Erza.
Mbak Eca kan yang mengenalkan.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure today to welcome one of our great speakers here on the Kibar event. So just a short introduction. Kibar is the Indonesian Islamic Muslim community. So we have from the UK, and this is the Leeds chapter here. So today I'm accompanied by Miss Ansa Ahmed. Miss or sister, is it okay to call you Sister Ansa? So sister,
Although I find when you say sister or brother, Islamically we are, when you're talking about mental health and certain issues, it can cause a barrier. So you can all call me Ansa. That's fine.
Okay, so it's okay to call you Ansa. Okay, so we are accompanied today with Ansa Ahmed. She is a training consultant and the founder of Hope Bereavement Support at Leeds. And she is also a registered counselor at the British Association for Counseling and Psychotherapy. And she's going to present a talk today on how Muslims should deal with psychological distress, with a specific title on rituals and costumes versus mental health and well-being, a stigma of mental health within Muslim communities. Honestly, I think this is a very interesting issue because mental health is actually one of the least discussed topics, not only in the Muslim community, but I think in the Indonesian society as well. So without further ado, the time is yours. Should we give a warm applause first for Ms. Ansa Ahmed?
I think my voice is quite projected anyway, but if you want me to use the microphone, I can. What do you prefer? Can you all hear me, or you'd prefer the microphone? Okay. I really sound like a robot, like a Dalek. That's what it feels like to me. Anybody who knows Doctor Who? Yeah, Daleks. That's what I feel like I sound like. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I am here today, kindly invited by Sister here, who I know through a common friend we have between us, Linda McGowan. Should I say Professor Linda McGowan, who I've known for a number of years. And my journey in mental health started many years back. For over 15 years, I have been doing a lot of volunteer work within the community in Yorkshire, and in Leeds in particular. I worked with the West Yorkshire Police, and when I say West Yorkshire Police, I mean I started off in my own back garden first. I used to invite the antisocial behaviour children, you know, the young kids throwing the stones and calling Paki this and you suicide bomber. These are the kind of comments we used to get in the street we lived in when we first moved there. It was a lot of hate crime. So I decided to start doing Asbo barbecues. So I invited these children, these young boys, to my house to do some gardening, and I make them some kebabs. And I spoke to them. And I started speaking to them, and I said, so what's your life like? And started getting to know them. At the same time, I started doing curry night every last Friday of the month, and I did this for 2 years. And I would invite the 20 houses on my side of the street and opposite my house, so the women would come. My house was full from top to bottom. And you know, just to sort of break, I guess taking it from the Prophet ﷺ's teachings or sunnah is, if you want to do dawah, if you want to break down the barriers, invite them for dinner, break some bread. And that's what I did. Simple, but it worked. So my journey started there, and I started working with St. Gemma Hospice as well voluntarily, where people go for support when they're terminally ill, where they're dying. And I started working now in their spiritual team and helping the Muslim community that would access. Would you like to translate as we're going along? Would that help? Can everybody understand me? Does everybody understand English? Okay. So I then, 6 years ago, set up Hope Bereavement Support. And the lady who's attending here with me today is my treasurer, trustee member, and volunteer. I have 6 volunteers. Rizwana has been there towards the end, but nevertheless a very important member of our team. And I started, and alhamdulillah, with my own money, no funding, and I didn't have lots of money. I am not a millionaire. I find it very difficult to explain to people, especially non-Muslim people, that when your intention is pure, and when your only reward is to please Allah and to help people, Allah makes it easy for you. I know of times when I did a curry night and I only had £10 in my purse, and I went and bought meat, and I had a massive pot, and I was going to make, you know, lamb mincemeat rice, and I thought, what can I make that will feed these people? I'm having curry night and I don't have any money. And I closed the top of the pot and I said, Ya Allah, I made a little dua. And I didn't have to use Arabic, I just used my own words, like, please keep my honor tonight. Make this easy for me. Let me feed these people, let me do your work. I closed the top, and when I went to open it 40 minutes later, it was full to the top. SubhanAllah. And this is when you know that when you do something from the right place, it finds ease in it. And I think that's a bit hard to understand the more over the years, I think, with the generations, the tests we have to go through as young Muslims, and especially as yourself as young Muslims. Please don't be fooled by my face. I'm nearly 4 decades old, so That should give you an idea of how old I am. Although a lady never reveals her age. I really find it difficult to understand how, when I was young, your age, I guess I still feel that age in heart, secretly. Still 17. I really feel that until you don't put that trust in Allah and you take that step forward, you are not going to feel the confidence, can I say? In a way, I don't know if that translates well. There's a saying in my language, I'm from Kashmir, so there's a saying in my language that says, O human, insan, push yourself so high, aim high, so high that God would come down from the heavens to ask, what is your intention? What do you want? And it sounds much better in Kashmiri. It's more poetic. But it's about making that link and understanding that this is a journey, this is a test. So how do I get through the test when I'm hurting physically, emotionally, and mentally? And spiritually. There can be times when you see things. I've had clients come to me and say, well, why does that person who's not Muslim have so much success and have so much big houses and everything else, and why are we struggling? Why does Muslims are struggling in the world and suffering? There's a simple answer to that. We all know it. Allah says that He created humans as the highest of the best of all His creations. So everybody is born Muslim, but how they are nurtured and how they grow up in their individual home, it takes them off the path. And if Allah wills it, they will come back on the path. If we are lucky, alhamdulillah, to be blessed to be born in a Muslim house and to stay in a Muslim life, that doesn't mean that you don't have ears and don't have eyes and don't have heart or touch, sense. All these senses attach you to this dunya. They attach you to the pleasures of this dunya and make it difficult to focus on what is a struggle and the pleasure behind that we cannot comprehend, that we don't yet grasp. So there's lots of topics I wanted to cover today for you to make it, in this presentation, I've done this for Leeds and for York University before, so I am quite an interactive presenter, and I'm conscious that I've been speaking for quite a while, so I want to get on to doing the slides with you. I have brought some books with me today, which I find quite useful that you might like. For the sisters, Heaven Under Her Feet. It's the only pregnancy book that I could find. It's got some really useful tips in there talking about the different customs, including clamping of the cord, delayed cord clamping, which a lot of people don't realize that it's a national thing that they're doing now. But even if you have miscarriage after a certain stage, but your placenta, things like this, should they be buried or should we allow the hospital to burn? If you have a miscarriage, should we allow them to actually incinerate the fetus? These are important questions, and our brothers need to know, because if you're supporting your wives and they're not able to speak for themselves, you need to be able to have this knowledge so you can speak on behalf of your women to the professionals. There's also another little book, it's just little handbooks, just so you can take the titles. And there's a very interesting one on Islamic Guide to Sexual Relations. So it talks quite openly and explicitly, and I find that book quite easy to read. They're not chapters and chapters of verse of like your dad or mom telling you how it should be done. It's very open. There's another book on parenting, which I find has a lot of interesting topics in as well. It's quite good, yeah. And I know a lot of books out there on hellfire and the wrath of Allah and the punishment, but I would always say to my clients to look at the pleasure, the love, the mercy of Allah. And this is our real home. So if you want a little look through the glass window of what home is, where we came from, where we're destined to go, then this is a great book. So if everybody's seated, we've got new people join. So at the beginning, you asked me if you should call me sister. A lot of my clients come in, especially men, and they'll come into them and say, should we call you sister? And I'll say no. And there's a reason behind this, because when you're coming for counselling and you're psychologically stressed, even between sisters, I will feel a barrier immediately go up, psychologically, subconsciously, to not be able to share what's going on for me, what I'm stressed about, especially if I'm calling somebody sister or brother straight away. I feel a respect or a barrier. There's certain limits, a boundary is set. So that means that person can't open up and can't share what's really troubling them. So I always say, when I do these talks or anything else, please call me Ansa, because I want you to be able to come up to me. If something is troubling any one of you today, happy enough to come to me or to contact me, say, hey, Ansa, I need some help. I'm struggling. And if you thought of me as a sister, you might think, oh, what is she going to think of me? It straight away gives that judgment connotation to that relationship. So it's about bringing down the barriers, I suppose. So we'll get started for you. It should be working. So we've had a little bit of an introduction into the mental health and well-being, and today we're going to cover talking about taboo subjects. And in my field of work, especially in Yorkshire and nationally now, I'm known as Miss Taboo because I talk about things that probably people think, oh, she shouldn't be talking about it, but I do. And I wanted to talk about the diversity of beliefs within the Muslim community, just like my all lovely people here today, all from a different culture to mine. So even within the Muslim communities, we have different cultures. Even within my own Pakistani community, I'm Kashmiri, people are Punjabi, so I'm not Punjabi, they're not Kashmiri. There can be lots of differences between that as well. Different rituals and customs. We'll be doing some group activities to talk about it, and I'm excited about this because I'm going to learn a lot about Indonesia. So I'm looking forward to that. I think the furthest I've traveled is Singapore. Oh, just a little bit further. I wish I'd gone now. Darn it, missed it. We'll have a question and answer session, and there'll be some final thoughts and close. I have got some workshops coming up. I'll be doing different workshops every month. This is what I do from my own. I've got 2 offices in Leeds. I've got one at the bottom of my garden and one in Chapeltown. So the 2 offices have 2 different rates of pay. That's why they're different offices for location. I do offer discounts for students. I do offer family therapy, couple therapy, as well as individual therapy. And I do presentations and talks like this as a consultant. And training. So I'm just going to go on to the next one. So I guess what I want to open up to yourself is, what do you believe is mentally or emotionally distressed? What does it look like?
Kira-kira ada yang pertanyaannya adalah apa yang dianggap sebagai distress. Kira-kira distress itu seperti apa, atau ada yang punya gambaran seperti apa? Bisa jawab bahasa Inggris atau bahasa Indonesia, nggak masalah. Thesis writing is stressful. Yes.
No, I'm asking, what do you think? What is your belief when somebody's mentally and emotionally distressed? How would you be able to tell?
Jadi lebih ke ciri-ciri orang yang kira-kira mentally distressed.
Probably they have like really hard to get sleep in the night, and then
So lack of sleep, insomnia.
lack of sleep, and then I think they also like eat a lot sometimes.
Yes, overeating, but also can be the opposite. You can actually stop eating as well. It depends on what your stress receptors are.
Ada lagi? Mungkin yang pernah stres, gejalanya seperti apa?
There is lots of different ways, and the way we say therapeutically or in the counseling terms is a person in a state of incongruence, being vulnerable or anxious, and it's on there. It's incongruence. What does that mean? Congruence. Let's look at that first. Congruence means being honest about what you're feeling in here, you show here. Although some of us are very good, like myself, I look like a beautiful swan outside, but I'm actually paddling like crazy underneath the water like a duck. So my nervousness is there. But a lot of us do that. A lot of us hide what's going on for us inside and don't share it. And that then becomes incongruence. This keeps switching off. Do you want to swap? Yeah. And being vulnerable, what does vulnerable mean? So if a person is, especially like all of you, I'm looking here today, and I will say every one of you is vulnerable. And you're looking at me thinking, why is she saying that? But actually you are, because you're all in a different country, different language, different culture. You're vulnerable because you may have a young family. You may be feeling vulnerable as men because you've got to provide for a partner, for your children. Women might be pregnant. That puts you in a vulnerable situation. You might be on low income. You might be in a situation where you're not secure financially. You might even be vulnerable because you're just new Muslim and learning your new faith. That could be it as well. Or trying to get into a faith. Or you might be falling off the faith, which is a faith crisis. So there's lots of different things that can make somebody vulnerable and anxious. And of course, you're all students, I believe, so you all have lots of exams and lots of writing to do. Oh yes, I really missed that day. You know, I guess I was blessed in a way, alhamdulillah, by Allah, that I could go a whole semester, and the last 3 weeks I would sit down in 2 nights and do my assignments. I don't have a photographic memory. I just didn't have time. I was working 3 jobs to support myself and my sister, being the eldest. So for me, it was about keeping a roof and providing for her and providing for myself, and that was what I did. And my tutors always said to me, "You'll get a first if you came to class." And I said, "Why do I come to class if I can do it at home? You pay my bills, I'll come to your class." So it is very hard. So we're going to look at the spectrum of mental health. Now, mental health doesn't just be really serious. People think they're being actually admitted into hospital, that they're being sectioned. Sectioned means that you have been certified as no mental capacity. Means that you have no capacity to think for yourself. So they section you in this country. I, alhamdulillah, for the last 5 months, have also been working with the mental health hospital here. So I work now, again, in my life, 3 jobs. I work for the NHS throughout the day, some of the days of the week. I work in private practice in the evening and the weekends, and I also work for charities like Inspirited Minds, Ehsan, and St. Vincent's. And then I do all my workshops and everything else on top. So somebody can come to me and say, "I am stressed, Ansa. I feel a bit, my heart starts beating, I get sweaty palms," or that can be small anxiety, small levels, the first initial level, low level mental anxiety. Then you have the top end of the spectrum, and there's a spectrum in between, where you can have panic attacks, where you can't breathe, your chest feels tight, you start feeling dizzy or faint. You can even start feeling sick. You can get migraines. You can even get irritable bowel syndrome. So this is where your tummy gets really upset, or you start being sick physically. You can even get a body rash. So your body can react to the stress that's going on mentally and psychologically very easily. I know one lady who came to me who believed that she had jinn inside her. And they did try speaking to me once. I think I scared it. I don't know. But they did try speaking to me once. She was stressed because her husband had left her. She was quite upset. She had 4 children to provide. There was really real events there that could actually be the reason why she was having a mental breakdown. Whenever she went to pray, she would start feeling sick, and she would start shaking and fitting. And that's why the family believed, and she believed, that she had jinn inside her. But what actually was the case when I worked with her for over 6 months, and I found that what she was experiencing was hysteria, because she was a devout 5-time prayer lay sister, and she felt her God. Why did her God not protect her? But she couldn't say from the mouth that I am having a faith crisis in my God. So her body was reacting the way it was every time she wanted to pray. She didn't really want to pray. So the incongruence, that's what we say when we're looking at that. I'm trying to point at it now. Let's see. It's not working. Oh, it is now. So I think it's really important to understand that when you are not feeling the same in your mind and in your heart, that incongruence starts showing in your body. So that's what we mean by that. So minor mental illnesses we've spoken about. The severe mental health illnesses, I'm just going to give you a few examples. If you want me to explain them, I can. But we've got schizophrenia, bipolar, personality disorders, and we also have narcissistic personality disorders. There's many. There is many that I can go into. There's social problems as well that people can have. And it's all rooted not just with your upbringing and your foundations and your attachment when you're a child or in your home, but it's also to do with medical chemicals, the way Allah has made you. See, we also have learning disabilities that come in the middle of that spectrum, where people have autism, Asperger's, ADHD. These are things, and in autism, I have autistic clients, their brain is wired differently. Very intelligent. And there are some people out there who claim that they can do ruqyah and they can fix it. I'm on the fence on this. and I am a Muslim, alhamdulillah, but I'm on the fence on this because I believe by the will of Allah, anything can be cured. I definitely believe that because I've experienced that. I was told over 15 years ago that I would never have children of my own, that I would never be able to conceive. And exactly a year later, after praying every morning to the birds outside, reading all the 99 names, doing everything I could myself, I was blessed. And 15 years later, I am the mother of 11 children. 9 are in heaven, unfortunately, but I say fortunately because they're in the best place. But I have 2 who are here with me for this journey. And that is the faith in Allah. And with every loss, there is gain. That's the way to see it, for me anyway. So, is there any questions on that slide I've just gone through?
Apa ada yang mau nanya terkait dengan slide yang ini? Is it okay if I just conclude a bit of it? So, untuk yang slide yang ini, beliau menjelaskan tentang apa yang dikategorikan sebagai distress. Ada 3, yaitu tentang incongruence atau ketidaksesuaian antara apa yang ada di dalam diri kita sama yang kita tampilkan, semacam penyangkalan mungkin. Kemudian vulnerable atau perasaan rapuh, ciri dari distress, sama yang ketiga anxious atau perasaan gelisah terus-menerus. Dan juga tentang spektrum mental health, bahwa yang dikatakan tentang mental health itu bukan hanya tentang hal-hal yang terlihat dan sifatnya tinggi seperti misalnya panic attack atau migraine atau skizofrenia atau misalnya narsisistik, tapi juga ada yang spektrumnya lebih rendah, ciri-cirinya seperti misalnya contoh kita agak cenderung gelisah, itu juga termasuk. Jadi mental health tidak bisa dikategorikan dalam hanya yang terlihat, tapi juga ada spektrum dari yang levelnya paling kecil sampai yang spektrumnya paling besar. Beliau menanyakan apakah ada pertanyaan untuk slide ini?
I think there's no questions. So there's no questions. Okay.
Next.
I think we'll get a bit more started. I'm sure there'll be loads of questions. Okay. So, with regards to mental health and well-being, we're going to talk about the diversity within the communities and different rituals and customs. I'm just trying to get through my screen. So I want to talk about some taboos, and I want you to tell me what your beliefs are, or tell me about your customs. It'd be really good to hear. And I wondered if you could go around, sister, and yeah, and give them the mic so I can hear them. That'd be good. Yeah, okay. Because I can understand some might be too shy to speak up loud, so, and not everybody has a loud voice like me. So. Yeah. So the first one we're going to talk about is death. So what are the beliefs around death in regards to mental and emotional well-being? Would anybody like to share with me?
Jadi ini pertanyaan dari beliau adalah tentang ritual atau custom kebiasaan di negaranya kita, tentang hal-hal yang berkaitan dengan apa yang ada di atas. Jadi yang pertanyaan pertama adalah kira-kira kepercayaan kita tentang kematian itu seperti apa? Mungkin tentang di Indonesia, ritual-ritual kita tentang dianggapnya kalau sudah kematian itu gimana dalam kaitannya dengan mental well-being gitu. Contohnya misalnya, apakah kita boleh atau tidak boleh menangis mungkin di depan mayat dan lain sebagainya mungkin. Ada yang bisa sharing mungkin?
Would you like me to go first to explain to you what I mean by that? Shall I share a little bit of my custom? So I'll share a little bit about my custom. In my culture, in the Kashmiri Pakistani culture, when a person dies, the women have a bad habit of wailing. You know wailing?
Meratap.
Shouting. Yeah, and whenever somebody comes to give you condolences, so they go to see the person who's had the loss, they will hold the woman and they will start crying and they'll do this on the back of the person, like thumping. Like they don't do it as much now, but if you go back home or in certain cultures where they're not as educated, it is still happening. They don't allow the women to go to the grave because of this, because they don't stop wailing. And they also have the custom of you do like a wake, like a khatam. Do you know what a khatam is like when they do the prayer? So on the 4th day after the death, they will do a prayer, but they also read so much Quran, and they read so much like first kalma, or they read different du'as like Ayatul Karima. They read all these as well as Surah Ikhlas. All this will be read on beads, on the seeds of the dates, and they will do 124,000 times. So 124,000. So a lot of people, every who's coming will have beads in front of them to read while they're there, and they count how many beads there are in one box, and the mosque provides this. So when imam does the prayer after 4 days, they can say this much was read to send for the next person who's died to help them in the next life. I don't know. This is one of the customs. And they also do, again, after 40 days after the death, they will do it again, read so much and invite people to food and pray and send again. And they will do it every year on the anniversary of the death. So I don't know if it's different in Indonesia. I think we have something quite similar, but I will ask someone. Biar lebih jelas gitu. Ada yang mau? Ini aja. We actually have something quite similar. We do have a praying at the 7th day, I think, right? 7th day, 40. Oh yeah, the first day of the death until the 7th day. So like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 until day 7. And then we have day 40, 100, 1000. So yeah, quite similar. But minus the wailing, we don't do wailing. Yeah. Islamically speaking, if we go to the Islamic principles, we are to mourn for 3 days. We are to bury our dead as soon as possible, not to delay it. And we are not to wail at all. Because we are to comfort. And when you comfort, when you visit the bereaved, it's not a case of wailing or showing your sadness. You can show that. It's fine to cry. Prophet ﷺ cried. And I think that's a real testimony to the men here, because it's to show that to be a strong man, you can cry. And you know, subhanAllah, Allah has a real aim and intention for everything that they've created. Because by the tear ducts, when the tear is released, the adrenaline in the brain is increased, so you feel happier. You feel the stress and the anxiety levels actually drop. So the cortisol goes down. So chemical balance is achieved by crying. So this is really a blessing. In terms of death, coming to terms with it, depending on what the circumstances are, it could be sudden, it could be something that you were aware of, that you've been waiting for, might be terminally ill, for example. And I always say to anybody who's going through this, it's never easy. Losing somebody you become accustomed to, be attached, to be loved by, or you love yourself. And as a true Muslim, we should feel the softness in our heart, the light from Allah, the kindness and love for all of Allah's creation. So it doesn't matter if you know the person or not. Should be moved. Should feel something. And I guess that's a real testimony and a test to see if actually how close are we to Allah? How moved are we when we see things? You know, this media is showing us so much suffering of our brothers and sisters, and everywhere in the world of our human brothers and sisters, I say, rather than just our Muslim brothers and sisters. And we can sometimes feel really moved and emotional by it, or we can get angry, still an emotion. But there are some people out there now, sadly, a lot, who will say that they feel nothing. They feel numb. And that's a real concern, that you don't feel anything. Loss and grief is a process that we go through for everything. And I put loss and grief separate to death because I wanted to explain to you that loss and grief are separate. You can experience loss and grief for a lot of things. We experience it every day, actually. You change country, you lost your culture, or you have to migrate, you lost your home, you lose your job. Hell, you even lose your car keys in the morning. You go through grief, believe you, I do. It does. You know, the loss and grief go hand in hand. And this can happen for anything in your life, not just somebody dying. You might be doing an assignment and you're really focusing on it, but it might be what they call preemptive loss and grief, because you are conscious that if I don't pass this exam, if I don't finish this assignment, I'm going to lose out on my career, the plans I have made. But we keep forgetting, my dear friends, you can plan, I can plan, but the greatest of the planners is the Creator who created everything that we planned for in the first place. So it doesn't matter. You can have a goal, you can have an idea, but whenever you have, you know, something goes wrong or something comes in the way of what you're doing in your path, what do you do? What happens to you all? I'm asking the question. If you are doing something, I don't know, you're getting ready for class, or you got an assignment, or you got work, and something comes up. Either the car breaks down, the kids get sick, or something else happens. What do you feel? What do you experience emotionally in here?
Oke, pertanyaannya adalah ketika mengalami masalah atau hambatan, perasaannya seperti apa? Contoh misalnya ngerjain assignment, komputernya hilang, atau assignmentnya rusak, assignmentnya tiba-tiba error. Perasaannya gimana? Saya tahu beberapa orang sudah mengalami itu, jadi mungkin bisa menjawab. Yang sudah, nah, kunci rumah hilang, atau telah store assignment.
Aldo kunci rumah hilang.
Perasaannya pada saat mengerjakan assignment, mengerjakan lagi banyak assignment ya. Kadang-kadang tertantang, tapi ya gimana ya, capek. Ya capek sih, paling gitu, capek aja, ngerasa capek, penat. Hilang, kunci rumah pernah hilang. Kunci rumah pas hilang ya, iya pas hilang ya panik awalnya, tapi habis itu berusaha tenang.
So he lost his house key once, and then he started to get panic, and then he told me that he started to calm down. So I was asking him, how did you decide to calm down? And then he talked to his wife. Yes. We all know the dua. When you lose something, just coming back to your house keys, when you lose something, it's inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Did you know you can read this when you lose something and you find it? You don't just read this dua when somebody dies, but you read this dua when you lose something, you find it. Believe you me, I have found keys at the bottom of the nappy bag. I have found money that I lost, like I'm talking lots of money.
I didn't found it.
At the back of the door. You didn't find it. But there's a blessing in that. It's like no matter what happens, I have complete empathy for you. There's been times in the past, many years ago, when I would lose something, I'd get really angry and I'd be like, saying wrong words. Now it's smiling, and alhamdulillah, subhanallah, what are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you wanting me to do? Why are you taking me? Even this morning, I said to Sessa, my daughter's got a really high fever, and she's had a high fever for 2.5 days. We believe it might be tonsillitis. I even ended up in hospital myself 3 weeks ago. I was hospitalized. I went to see my doctor, and she goes, you need to go hospital. I was like, no. I went to hospital. I thought it would be blood test, but they sent me into the ward and said, you're not going home. You could have sepsis, this, blah, blah. We need to give you IV. As soon as the 24 hours passed and the drips were finished, I pulled everything out. I said, I'm going back to work. And just left. It's really difficult in our life when we have commitments, when we have other people who rely on us, especially if you come from a different country and you have family extended who rely on you as well back home. It can be very difficult. But we have to stop and we have to think, why is this block come up in my path? What is Allah trying to tell me? Where is Allah taking me? Sometimes you don't know why, and that's where you ask for Allah's wisdom and guidance, and you trust. This is where the trust comes in. Does that make sense? Do you need to translate? Okay, so the next one is abused or abuser. So this is a big topic within all of the communities, not just the Muslim communities. We're talking about pedophilia here, but we're also talking about mental, emotional, physical abuse, domestic violence. There can be abuse of parents from children, from parents to children. And in our communities, I'm sad to say that it sometimes feels like it's just put on the carpet or it's not taken seriously. And I'll tell you why it happens more in our communities, in the Muslim communities, because we have the ignorance, if you like, the lack of knowledge to understand why. And I know where it comes from. It's because we forgot to follow the Sunnah. Completely on the Quran, and you know the Sunnah, you know the Hadith, but do we follow the Sunnah that we should be like we are today? And I'm pleased to see this, sat together, men and women. In most cultures and communities, the men and women are completely segregated. The children are not allowed to see their cousins. In my culture, I'm not allowed to speak to my male cousins.
I never was allowed to sit in the same room as my male cousins. And vice versa, neither were they allowed to sit with me or talk to me because they were non-Mahram. So it depends, and when you are completely kept in separate schools and separate things, and your parents don't have this conversation with you about your body changing, about you growing, you fall into that vulnerable section of where people can take advantage of you, and you wouldn't necessarily know how to speak up and ask for help or how to tell somebody. So that is an interesting one. We can talk about that a little later. The death of a child, not of puberty age. So there is death that you can have as miscarriage, which I've got on there, and stillbirth, but there's also death of children who are older after they've been born, who die before the age of puberty, and how that can be a taboo subject too, because a lot of people don't know how to comfort their family or their friend who's lost that child. And if you are a woman in my community, and I don't know if this is the same in Indonesia, so please tell me, if you lose a child and you miscarry, until your 40 days are up, and it's for 40 days, although Islamically it's only until you can't pray. When you can start praying, you're okay, you're fine. But in my community, for 40 days, the woman is avoided by other women. They avoid you because they feel there's something called, translated, pashawa, which means shadow. So it means that you can be affected by that shadow. The woman has lost a child, so you can have the shadow, which means that if you are expecting yourself, if you're pregnant, or if you're single and you're not married, you don't want that shadow on you because it means you lose your baby, or you will miscarry, or you can't conceive. So while you are struggling, grieved, and really fighting with yourself because you've lost something very, very close to you, that not even your husband or partners can understand. They can try and empathize, but it's part of your body that's recovering. And I just want to emphasize one more thing, that the reason why we say 40 days is because, my dear friends, for 40 days the woman's grave is open. 40 days. So she's neither in this world or that is a blessing from Allah, that if she died in those 40 days, she would be shahad. She would go to heaven. So this is really, really important to understand, how a lot of people don't understand the comfort that goes into this. And men grieve differently, because for the man, it's not physically a loss, but it is a mental and emotional loss. If it's your first or your second, it's still a dream. And when we have any kind of loss, it is a shattering of a dream, which can be really painful. Financial debt or stress. So a lot of people don't talk about their financial debt and stress because obviously, Islamically speaking, you're not allowed to be in debt. You shouldn't have taken debt in the first place. So we're constantly worried about people judging us. This is really bad. I can't do it with this, but so it's about understanding that how do we enable people to be able to openly speak if they're struggling? In my culture, there's also an ego thing, an arrogance. That if I ask my brother, even my parent or anybody for help, that means that I am poor and I'm struggling. And if I am even hungry and I go to somebody's house and they put food in front of me, I must not eat, or I must not ask for food. I take after my granddad, and I always ask. I take after my granddad. So my granddad used to be very, from the heart. He'd speak from the heart. If he's hungry, he'll tell you. If he's thirsty. And I believe this is an Islamic root, because when you go to somebody's house, you are a blessing. You are taking barakah to that person's house. And without them putting out of their pocket, that money is already there. That food, that sustenance has already been sent from Allah. And I think it's very important to understand that by asking and telling them that you're hungry, that you're thirsty, you are not putting them out of the way. You are actually giving them an opportunity to earn reward. And you know what? By eating the food in their house and drinking the water, you gain reward too. So why were people shirking away from reward? Forget that ego. I don't want any ego because I submit to Allah. I want that reward instead. And this is the problem. Culturally, we worry about how we will think of each other. And where does this thinking come from? But the Western white privileged world. It's true. Because they're constantly judging. You are brown, you are black, You are less than me. Just because somebody's fairer doesn't make them more better than you. Think about Bilal. From the history of our history. And you think about the great and the wise women and men from our history. We're from different backgrounds. Marital problems. Now this is a big one, because if you have arranged marriage, you have a marital problem, the parents and the family, everybody want to get involved. But if you have a love marriage and you want to get family involved, well, it's your fault, you put it up, you lie in your bed now. Where do you go? But Islamically speaking, we're supposed to be helping each other, supporting each other. And just because you might have a marital problem and you go and speak to family, does not mean that you are saying, I want to separate from my wife or my husband. You're wanting that confidant, you're wanting that advice. Before getting the alim and the imams involved, before it goes to talaq, 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 what do you do then? So this is a big problem in our cultures, in our communities, that if we do have an issue, first and foremost, we must be able to have that open dialogue with each other. The couple should be able to open up and speak to each other. If you're having trouble with that, counseling is not just for people who've got mental problems. It can be for, like I say to my clients, if you want to increase your tawakkul, you want to get closer to Allah, you can come to me. The whole point of counseling is opening up a self-awareness, so you learn about yourself. If you're having couple therapy, it's about you learning together about each other and about yourself. It's about coming to that comparison and that what is the same between you and I, and what is different, so we can work on the different and try and find that agreement between each other. And the last two, I know they're a bit more to do with, can't they? But there is an issue within all of the world, not just in certain countries, but especially in our Muslim communities. There is drug, porn, alcohol addiction problems. There is also gambling. There's many different addictions. Promiscuity, there's lots of issues out there where people will live a double life. Sexuality is a massive one. And subhanAllah, I've had many clients come to me who are now telling me that they're questioning their sexuality. And I'm talking females as well as males who say they are gay. Muslims. It can be very, very difficult in the world that we live in, that we need to understand what's happening, what is going around us, why are we struggling to understand. Why is that fitra being pushed? Now, I'll give you a small example. If my young son who's 6 years old, if we're watching TV or something program and something comes on where a man and woman are hugging, or they have, oh, that's wrong, mommy, I can't see this, whatever. Yes, that's fine, you can't look at it, change it over. But if me and my husband do not sit on the same sofa in front of my son, and even if my husband didn't embrace me or kiss me on my forehead or my hand in front of my son, he will not understand what is a healthy heterosexual relationship. And these are things that are allowed in Islam. They're encouraged that you should show affection to your wife, so your children can learn, so your sons can learn what it is to be a man. That you as a woman should be able to show you making an effort for your husband and for God, first of all, not most. We do this all to please Allah first. Your relationship with Allah should be an open, confident, integral part of your life. But if you look at the relationship, I do a pyramid called relationship priorities. First is Allah. When you're not married, it's your parents, then your brothers and sisters, then your family, then your work, then your study. If you're married, after Allah comes your spouse and your children, then your parents, then your siblings, then everybody else. But we have that mixed up in our community. And this is where the addiction comes from, because people put their family, their extended family, their friends, their work, everything else before their husband, their wife, or their children. And where are the children learning these things? They're left on their own in their room in front of computer console games. They're watching TV, which cannot be monitored. And they don't learn anything about sexual education from their parents, so they end up learning it from their friends outside, and mainly from non-Muslim, or maybe even on the internet. And I don't know if you're aware, if you read through some of the books, you'll understand that sexual awareness in a child comes at 3 years old. Did anybody know that? Is anybody surprised by that? 3 years old. When we are 3
we know what there is different in our body compared to the opposite sex. So we should be talking gently with our children and letting them ask the questions. Like when I was expecting my little girl, my little boy was asking, where's this baby sister coming from? I said, you make dua to Allah, Allah will give you a sister or a brother. He goes, okay, but how does Allah give you that baby in the tummy? And how does that work? I said, when you're old enough, you'll know, but Allah is all magical and, mystical and can do all the miracles, and he was like, wow. And it's a simple thing of asking my son. He's really young, but every night before we go to bed, I ask him to thank Allah for 3 things that he was happy for that day. And he's been doing that for the last 3 years. And at first it would be toys. And then it was, I got to go to the park. And now it's I love my mom. Thank you Allah for my mom. Thank you Allah for my roof. Thank you Allah for my baby sister. And he even adds to it, please send my love to my brothers and sisters in heaven. And he goes to their grave. He's known since he was 2 years old. He goes to their grave. He understands. It's how early do you want to bring in that, And he say, when I grow up, I'm going to get married, mummy. He'll talk about marriage. He'll talk about what he likes, what he doesn't. And I give him that freedom. But I teach him with love. This is right and this is wrong. These feelings are okay if you're angry. So you know how children can pick up swearing really easy because we all did it, right? Learning to swear was easy, I bet, in this country, right? When you were learning English, did you learn all the swearing first? How many people can say that? It's very easy to learn swearing. So I converted it to, whenever you're feeling angry, why are you swearing? I'm angry, Mom. I'm angry, that's why. Okay, well, how about instead of swearing, we say apples, strawberries. So whenever he's frustrated or angry, he'll go apples, strawberries, melons, grapefruit, banana. He'll start giving a list. And when I get frustrated with him, and I want to show him I'm frustrated, I'll say the same. Mustafa, bananas. It's really good when you're outside in the public, in front of other women and men. If you were shopping or something and your son is not listening or your daughter's not listening, you can go, bananas, strawberries. And they know straight away that, it's little things like this. But it's about having that early intervention. So if you don't have that intervention, how can we deal with these issues afterwards? Intimacy and sexual problems. So we're talking about PE here, which is premature ejaculation. We're also talking about penile dysfunction, but also there's something within women as well, where they can have female dysfunction as well. So this is where, and when you read some of the books out there, it tells you how in that kind of halal relationship you're married, your wife is your garden, you are the gardener. That should be enough to tell the man that you must take time to get to know your garden. And I'm talking about the whole body, from head to toe. You must take time. It shouldn't be something that's a chore. It should be something that you both want. And can I just say that the women have as much right to this as the men. So the angels don't just curse the women for saying no, and I've got a headache, and I'm feeling sick, and go away. The men are cursed too. And this is really important to talk about, that I think in our cultures it's not really acceptably, openly spoken about. Just like you need to eat and drink, your body has a need to feel loved. It has a hunger, a physical contact hunger, that can only be achieved by being in a relationship, by being in a marriage. And that is a right for both women and men. And if you want to protect yourself, another thing you can check online, you can Google it, called Fight the New Drug. It's an American thing, and I know the Christian brother who does it, Andy Kirk, he goes around all the schools at the moment for the last few years, and he talks about pornography to kids. And he talks about the poison of the pornography and how it is really poisoning the mind. Because just like you take heroin, there is certain chemicals released in your brain, and every time you want that hit, you've got to take more and more and more. So it's the same with pornography. You might see 2 hands touching and you've never seen that, and that might be enough. It can go from really subtle to extreme before you get the same hit, same pleasure, to the point where you're wanting to watch rape. That's how bad it can get. And a lot of psychos who are jailed now, who are psychosocial killers, will actually, it's been researched in America, will say that they used to watch a lot of porn. And they love women.
It's not like they don't love women, but they get pleasure out of strangling and killing them. That's how they get their pleasure now. And that's why they ended up that path. And even the Quran says to protect your eyes. Protect your eyes. Don't watch these things because it changes your perception in your mind. It changes your relationship between a woman, a husband and wife. I know a lot of healthy couples will come and say, oh, we've tried looking at porn together. I've tried showing her this on the video so she understands what we need to do. Astaghfirullah, those people that are on the video are filmmakers, they are actresses, they are surgically enhanced, they are completely not normal, they're on lots of drugs and pills. How can you expect your husband or your wife to behave in that way? And why would you want something so pure and halal to be subjectified in that way? And don't get me wrong, sisters, we need to be absolute wizards in the kitchen and, dare I say the word, crazy in the bedroom. If we want to be able to, if you want to do that, that's fine. You might find it's not in your nature, and that's fine. But this is a conversation that needs to happen between the husband and wife. To understand, to bring that intimacy to closer. The more you have that conversation and you have that no barda, they call the no barrier, you are able to openly speak more to each other and understand what your needs are. So that I find is mainly the issue that people want to talk about. So I just wanted to go back to a bit like loss and grief and give you a bit more detail. There is something called the 5 stages of grief, and a lot of people will know this. There is denial and isolation, there's anger, there's bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Now these things don't happen in stages, they are a circle. So you can go from, I accept that Allah has done this, and I want to get on through it, and then 2 days later, 3 weeks later, however long, years later, you can absolutely be back at anger and denial. There's been many times in my life that I've experienced that cycle, and even understanding the psychological connection and not knowing, having so much loss can impact you so much. And it depends on what your journey is and where you're going and where your faith is, but it doesn't mean just because you're breaking apart or not being able to handle something that you're not a good Muslim. To be a good Muslim doesn't mean that you don't question, you don't cry, you don't hurt, you don't get angry. These are all emotions that are natural to all human beings. And they, like I said to you before, they show congruence. They show that you are connected to your feelings and you're being honest about those feelings. So when you're angry, it's asking Allah for sabr. I'm really angry. Wallahi, Ya Allah, I'm so angry right now. I need that space. Or, Ya Allah, give me sabr. Or if you're like me, you start to go make bread. Don't you think that's really good? Punch away at that bread dough. It's really nice. And before I was doing that, I remember when I was at uni, going back, I'm not going to say when, but there was a big pile of bricks at the back of this house I was renting. The guy was going to do an extension. I had to pay him for those bricks because by the end of the year, it was all powder. I'd go in the back and I'd get the brick and I'd smash them when I'd get angry. And that was my way of releasing. It was either that or going through lots and lots of cars because I would drive. I would go for long drive. I have driven around the whole of UK and some parts of Europe. And that was, but I've driven from a very young age. But everybody has their own release. What I'm saying is everybody has their own outlet. So it's about how do you manage yours? How do you do it? Some people prefer to go onto the prayer mat and pray. Some people like to go out. And it depends on what your spiritual personality is. And it's very important. There's something called Inspirited Minds, but there's also other tools. And I'll send it on to you, Sessa, so you can see it and share with everybody. Everybody has a normal, like, your own personality, but you also have a spiritual personality. So some people like to pray on time, on the dot. I cannot be late. That will irritate me. Or they like to read a lot of Quran. Or they like to go out and do lots of charity, lots of talks. They like to meet people. Everybody has a different skill set and a different niche. And that ascertains your spiritual personality. To maintain that resilience, to maintain that acceptance, and appreciate and accept that you will go through denial or anger or depression through any loss, You need to allow yourself time, apart from the 5 times that you pray to Allah, which is obligatory. You know when you do something that I'm told you got to do it, how does it feel when you do it, when you achieve it? There's a bit of frustration, right? It's a bit of like, I have to do it, right? When you do something because you don't have to do it and you're doing it because you want to, how does that feel? So every day, just take 5-10 minutes out of your time and sit in a quiet spot or a noisy spot, whatever you like, but to be connecting to your God, to sit there and just talk to God. I can't emphasize enough to you how good that feels. Just to talk to you. You can do it in your prayer as well, that's fine. And you know, sisters, I'm looking at you here, and I'm not saying this in a judgmental way, but I want to share something with you. I used to go to a baby group, and these women used to, I was very ill, very, very ill. I didn't know at the time that, but I went along, and the women would put the jubba on, and they'd be wearing pajamas underneath. You know what I mean? Like tracks on bottoms and t-shirts, pajamas. And I'd be like, okay, right, it's prayer time, we're all going to pray and stuff and everything. And they would and we'd talk about it, and they looked at me and said, oh, and I said, you know, when you're going to pray, you should be making that effort. You should be making that effort. You're going to meet your creator. Why are you not making that effort? To the brothers as well. Why are we not making that effort? You're going to meet your creator. Why would you not put your best clothes on? Why would you not put your best scent on? Why wouldn't you put your best makeup on? You know, please Allah. Allah loves beautiful things. Allah loves beauty. He's giving you that beauty. Why are you not enhancing it for him? Why are you not sharing it? And thanking him. And I think that is about the connection. That's the, for me, it shows what that level of commitment is. Is it a chore that I'm having to pray? Is it a chore that I get up every day and that I'm not making an effort with myself? Everybody is unique. And I always say this, everybody is unique. And I always say I'm only one, I'm only unique. But I am, even when I'm sick, I'm still making an effort when I get up. The first thing I will do is because I believe that I am pleasing my Allah first. And I'm thanking my God for giving me this life, for giving me each breath, for giving me life, for giving me another day to go out there, meet people, talk to people, and inshallah gain some more reward. What is there not to be happy about? So there is loss here, but there is so much gain. And every time you suffer even the smallest of loss, that anguish, that little bit of stress, that little bit of anxiety you experience is expiating your sins. It's washing you of your sins. Allah is blessing you, subhanAllah. Allah is giving you back reward. So you don't have to physically break your leg and be in hospital to be going through suffering. Even if you were just stressed about how am I going to make the bills next month? How am I going to do this? That is a stress. There is this model that I can show you, that the 2 different things that people go into when you lose something. Can everybody see that? Is it big enough? So there's 2 ways that a person can actually work through loss. They can either be loss orientated, so they're completely emotional. Like I said, the wailing, the crying, and you know, at certain funerals that can happen. You can even get very angry, you can break the bonds or ties, you could even relocate, move away, denial, avoidance. It really is, you completely separate yourself from everybody because you go inside yourself. You know, you heard that term, you become internalized because you're just stricken by your grief or your loss. The other way is the restoration oriented. Now, this guy is not Muslim, subhanAllah. This guy, this clinical worker, the people who put this model together, the strobe and shirt, they understood. And when I look at this model, straight away when I was training, I thought of Islam, I thought of Quran, and I thought of my God. And you know, when I started this counseling work, this was my 3rd degree, by the way. And Sessa might know because Linda might have shared with her. I was doing medical engineering. Then I did graphic design. I did medical engineering only for 4 years. My mother fell ill, so I came back home and I looked after my family. And then I went back after 9 months. I couldn't get my head around the physics or the maths. Nothing made sense anymore. I thought, what's the point of this? I can't get my head around it. So Allah doesn't want me to go down this path. So be it. I'll go down another path. I went through UCAS and did graphic design. And then I started doing online banking platform, mobile banking for Lloyd's Banking Group. It used to be Halifax before. And I worked with them for 15 years, and within 4 years of working with them, I realized I did not like sitting at the computer and not talking to anybody. I did not like that. I didn't enjoy it. So I worked my way up and became an area manager for 15 branches. I worked for 15 years before I took my redundancy. And while I was working for them, I went back and did counseling. It depends on where you want to be. For me, sharing that story with you is to give you an idea that no matter where you are in your life, no matter what hardship you have, no matter what loss you suffer, it's down to you to make that choice, whether you go loss orientated or whether you go restoration orientated, whether you're going to go to the place where you're going to restore, you're going to be attending to life changes, meaning you're going to be managing them. And as Muslims we do, because we know there are farz, there are obligations that we have to abide when a person dies. If anything like this, for example, we need to set up the burial, we need to arrange the ghusl, we need, there's lots of things that happen in our life, like with birth of a child, the customs around that, the Islamic needs around marriage. So there are certain events in our life that we do know how to manage. But doing new things, being prepared to change and push your comfort level. How many of you people can put your hand up and tell me that you're happy to push yourself into new places? Thank you. One. Perfect.
Beliau bertanya berapa di antara orang di sini yang hadir di sini yang kira-kira cukup semangat untuk pergi ke tempat baru atau mencoba sesuatu yang baru. Bisa diangkat tangannya?
Now, I would say every one of you should have your hands up because you're in your country. Some of you are not here from this country, and I'm not making an assumption. Some of you may be, born here. Like myself, I'm third generation here. My granddad came, my dad's father, in the war, after the Second World War, to build a country. Not that they find any gratefulness towards that in this country, but you try. It really is difficult to try and push yourself out of the norm. And this is what Allah wants you to do every day. Did you know that? Did anybody know that? That that's what Allah wants you to do every day? Because every single day should be lived as though it is going to be your last day. If you woke up every morning and thought it was your last day, would you not want to try do new things and do everything that you want, that you possibly could? I woke up today after feeling really knocked out yesterday because I got this fever from my daughter. And believe it or not, I am really ill right now. No, I hide it well. Alhamdulillah, Allah does not let it show. But I woke up saying, I am not going to call Cesar and say I can't do this. I'm going to go because this is something new. I've not met the Indonesian community, and I'm going to go there and make an effort and talk about what I love talking about. This is dawah for me. This is pleasing my Allah. I'm talking about the one I love the most. Come on, when you're talking about the one that you love, would you not be eager to get up even off your deathbed and talk about them? That's how we should be relating to Allah. That's the kind of level of relationship you should have with your God. It's a relationship of love and mercy. The more you show mercy and compassion to your fellow humans and all the creation of Allah, the more Allah showers you with mercy and compassion and love. So new roles, new identities, new relationships, avoidance of grief. So one thing I will say about going into that mode is that the one thing that as a counselor I would look out for, or psychologist would look out for, is that you're not in that place of denial. And this is where the faith comes in. So I'm just going to try and see if this will work. Oh yeah, you see this bit here? It says denial, avoidance of grief. This is the bit that we will look at. You can distract yourself from grief, but you don't want to get to a place where you completely don't deal with the grief. You have to deal with it. Just like you break your leg and your arm and you pee and you go to the hospital and they give you a stick or a plaster cast. That is a temporary thing that you need to realign your bones or realign your leg to get fixed, to get repaired. But if you are mentally disturbed or hurt, you need to go to see people like myself. And it's not thinking of less of yourself, it's about building yourself, about repairing yourself temporarily. You might even need to go to your GP and say, hey, I'm not sleeping, or there's something going on, I'm feeling low and I'm feeling down. They might give you some pills for a little while to help you lift. Because God forbid, you might even get to that place where the faith crisis gets so much that you start feeling suicidal. It's not worth it, it's too much. Why do people think about death? Even Muslims, even in the hardest times. Because the thinking, the psychology is more loss orientated. It's here. I don't know how to take this audio test thing off. Right. All right, okay. Audio test, yes, I can hear me. So there's different diversity of beliefs within the Muslim community. There's different castes, there's different class, ethnicity, geographically, education, knowledge, trade, and school of thought. So what is a school of thought in Indonesia? What's the predominant school of thought? No, I'm asking about Islamic. Shafi Muslims. Okay, Shafi school of thought. I'm Hanafi Sunni. So in Pakistan, in Kashmir, it's mainly Hanafi Sunni. In the Arab states, it's mainly a lot of, there's a lot of Shia beliefs out there as well, but there's different schools of thought. Salfi, I think, is one of them. So there is different levels of beliefs even within our communities. So now, it's going to give you an opportunity. Just give me 2 seconds. I want you to, amongst yourselves, to work in pairs or in groups if you want to split into groups, however many you decide, how big you want your group, or if you just want to work all together. But I would like you to talk about the different customs, so if I go back, the different diversities in different, what you've experienced, and especially in your culture and community, if that's easy, and how is that different? How does mental health come into that? How is it valued, if you're not, or not valued? Is it validated, or is it not validated?
Translate, clarify, mental health, so you want them to work in pairs?
Yes, if they can work in pairs and or groups and just ask each other or talk, discuss with each other to share to make it. Okay, so we'll ask you questions relating to mental health.
Jadi dia meminta kita untuk bekerja secara kelompok atau berpasangan. Kita yang tentuin mau berapa banyak. Terus dalam kelompok itu berdiskusi tentang culture atau budaya-budaya yang berkaitan dengan mental health. Kayak tadi contohnya yang tentang bagaimana menghandle kematian.
So they can use this list. I want you to talk about this list.
Jadi kayak yang tadi misalnya bahwa kalau kita mati itu ada ritual.
What you experience about these. Okay?
Mungkin per baris-baris gitu aja ya, sebaris-sebaris biar cepat gitu ya.
Kayaknya kelompok ini dengerin surat kubur. Dengerin surat kubur. Jadi saya punya
about